Everyone told me to skip breakfast and just fast longer. But once I hit 51.5, which was the magic number for me when I went into menopause, that stopped working and my belly fat proved it. I know I was doing all the right things, at least I thought in my head. But once I started eating with my circadian rhythm, that's when the results started to come back. My mistakes I was making was, fasting too long. I really loved being that person that did the extended fasts, whether it was 24 hours a day, 36-hour fast, 48-hour fast, whatever the fast was, I was doing it weekly and I was doing it for long periods of time. And I mean that this was going on for months and months at a time. Fast forward today, when I do a 24-hour fast, yes, there are some days that are perfect, feel no pain, no problem. Like I did just the other day is when I fasted too long and didn't listen to what my body was telling me, and that was to stop and eat. And it's okay to break your fast earlier than what you set it out to be. We don't have to white knuckle it and just hang on for dear life if we don't make it to 24 hours. What if it's 22 hours? What if it's 20 hours? So be it. The other mistake I was making was eating too late in the evening. And sometimes I was having late workouts and then I had to eat something. So I felt like it was around 8 o'clock that I was finishing dinner. And that was okay for earlier in my life, perimenopausal days. Now, no bueno. If I eat later in the night, then we're gonna have an issue and then I wake up hungry in the mornings, or I don't sleep very well. Have you had that feeling? The other thing I was doing that seems to be a mistake as well for me is I was eating carbs later in the night. What you eat and when you eat matters so much. So I was eating carbs like my sweet potatoes and my rice. Again, eating it too late in the evenings with a late dinner. And at the end of the day, if you eat your carbs earlier, man, will you see a difference? Just shifting when you eat and what you eat earlier, man, in the day, so you can burn that off and then give it time before you go to bed. In a case study, meal timing was found to regulate the circadian rhythm with especially women in after postmenopause or after 50. The study showed that early time restricted feeding, the ETRF, eating earlier in the day improved insulin sensitivity, reduced fasting glucose, and lowered even cortisol levels in adults, even without weight loss. This is especially relevant with postmenopausal women, where hormonal shifts already affect insulin handling. I noticed when I stopped skipping breakfast and ate earlier in the day around 9:30-ish, I wasn't crashing in the afternoon. And so my energy level stayed up and the cravings, they really were in check. So it stopped me from snacking. My blood sugar felt stable for once. And guess what? The scale moved a little bit more. It's not exactly to where I wanted to go yet. We're not there yet, but I noticed that the waistline, the inches started to decrease. And that's most important because that tells me that I'm having fat loss. And the best part of that is that I was eating more, and that meant the high protein and low carbs and having the fat and fiber as I needed it to make things run smoothly in the gut. And remember now, gut health really dictates whether or not we're going to lose weight. If that system is not running smoothly, which insulin resistance blocks, then we're going to have issues with the scale. That's when the light bulb went off and it was like ding, ding, ding. And I realized that I was working more with my body instead of working against it. That's been the name of the game and the lesson all these years. Doing the things that don't work anymore, but also doing the things that don't work with your new system. My results. Well, it really comes down to more energy. And this is what I'm talking about, getting that quality sleep. I had to really start toning it down. What do you do after the eating is done in the day. And instead of sabotaging my weight loss and fat loss journey, I really had to make sure of what I do from the last meal of the night to the rest of the eating is prepare for going to sleep and having quality good sleep. And that was to get away from the screens, really tone down on the things that get us up and running and get the cortisol levels high again, which is watching the news, looking at a lot of social media. I really cut that back. I set a timer for when I'm going to be on social media, and it's really about 15 to 20 minutes just to be on Instagram to check my messages, and if I have a post, then I post it, and then I get out real quick. So doing those things late in the evening, not a good idea. I mean, it really does work up our hormones, and our body is so freaking smart, and it knows when you are giving it too much activity and when you are working the nervous system, which turns into the high cortisol levels, which as we know equals fat storage, and the insulin resistance is building and building, therefore blocking you from dropping the fat. So getting that sleep, and you are actually burning fat while you sleep. So if you can get enough time in, 7 to 8 hours is great. If you can get even 9, some people can do it. I can't yet, but I think my sweet spot is about 7.5 hours. Please front load your water. And I cannot tell you and stress enough how much hydration plays a role in losing the fat. Sometimes you think you're just hungry and actually you're only thirsty or dehydrated. Make sure you're getting your electrolytes in the water, which I do, Himalayan salt. You can do some forms of potassium or magnesium in your water as well. Personally, I've been doing the Himalayan salt with a splash of lemon, and that really helps curb the appetite, but also it is going to make things run smoothly in the gut. And that is where the magic happens for fat loss. And the results of that is less bloating as well. I know you might think drinking more water would make you bloated, but no, actually it does the opposite. You almost like to treat it like a diuretic in a way, flushing out the fat, but that can make a difference on the scale. I'm getting to a point where I'm giving up looking at the scale so much, but I know I need to check it just to make sure I don't get off track per se. The other thing is that the scale does lie to us when it comes to building muscle and strength training. So if you're doing a lot of strength training and you're changing your body composition, that's where you're going to see the changes is in the inches, and measuring your stomach, measuring your hips, whatever you think are the areas that you want to see results, then measure those things and you'll see the difference. You might actually weigh the same thing, but don't get disappointed because you're already making gains when your body's changing and how it feels and fits your clothing. That's where the goals are being met. But what I see is the outer appearance that looks different to me. I hope that helped. I was trying to piggyback off of the last video about changes that I was making and mistakes that I was making. And this was part of it with the meal timing, and what you do in the evenings counts just as much as well after we end up closing our mouths from eating. One trick I do for myself is that I go and brush my teeth after a meal, but I especially brush my teeth after the last meal to tell my body that it's done with eating for the day. I also put in my retainers. So I have TMJ, and it's been affecting the shifting of my teeth because I'm a clencher. Yeah, I'm a clencher. Cortisol levels come down. The stress is coming down because I'm walking in the mornings, and then sometimes I walk after. So the bottom line is with those retainers, that helps me just shut it down, and I know I can't eat. Otherwise, I'll have to take out the retainers. I have to brush my teeth again after I eat. See what I mean? Make it difficult for yourself to shut things down so your body can rest and digest the foods that you've been eating throughout the day. And that's what I mean about fasting. Fasting overnight while you sleep is the best time, And fasting in the evenings is a great time when you know you shut it down. Say it's 6 o'clock for the rest of the evening, and then you're giving yourself at least 3 hours to 4 hours before you go to bed. Set yourself up for a win or lose the fat in your sleep. I hope that helped, guys, and thank you so much for watching the video. And I want to ask you a question before you go, to drop a comment below. Have you noticed how your body responds when you start to eat earlier in the day? I love to hear about it, so please comment below. And if you're looking for a reset and trying to just start again, if you want to check that out, I have a free belly fat rescue plan that I've written about, and how you can reset to start again on your fat loss journey. So that link will be left down in the description, of course. Thanks for watching, guys. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.